The Beyond the Fame podcast is fed by Lido Pizza. Lido Pizza never cuts corners. For menu and locations, visit LidoPizza.com. This month's programming is sponsored by Signature Theater in Arlington, Virginia. A Fiddler on the Roof sounds crazy, no? Signature Theater presents Fiddler on the Roof, the timeless musical of family and tradition featuring Tevye, his family, and the village of Anatevka. On stage now through January 25th. Ticket information at sigtheater.org. And of course, this podcast would not be possible without our longtime title sponsor, the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Have plans for New Year's Eve? Don't forget to purchase your tickets to that Arena Rock Show's New Year's Eve party or dance the night away in the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Receive 2 complimentary drinks with each ticket purchased. Details and tickets at HollywoodCasinoCharlestown.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino floor and attend a show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Twilight alum Kristen Stewart makes her directorial debut by adapting Lidia Yuknavitch's 2011 memoir, The Chronology of Water, now in select movie theaters before opening nationwide January 9th. I spoke with Stewart about her writing and directing process. And you'll even hear the movie's star, Imogen Poots, chime in at the beginning to banter with Stewart about my podcast title. Is it Beyond the Fame or Beyond the Frame?
Is it beyond? Is it beyond the fame or frame?
Frame.
Beyond the Fame.
Oh, okay. Beyond the bane.
But today we're going beyond the frame as well because it's your directorial debut, Kristen Stewart, writer and director of The Chronology of Water. And of course, we have Imogen Poots, the star of the movie. It debuted at Cannes and Film Fest, but it's out this December in select theaters and nationwide January 9th. So let's start, your writer and director. Let's start with the writing, Kristen. You adapted this 2011 memoir by Lidia. Give us the basic premise if folks are new to this and what drew you to it as you're reading it. Non-linear, what about it, did you dig?
Well, I mean, it is the way that she expresses herself, and it's the way that she kind of invites you to express yourself. The book has, in a slug line, complete misleading qualities. I think it's so much more than a swimmer who escapes an abusive household and finds sort of solace and savior through art. It's like the shape of it. It's the form of it. It's how you recall a life is not how you might tell people about it. How you have an internal experience about sorting through the details that have defined you and how you can sort of redefine those terms is usually not something that you do out loud. And it just felt so revolutionary to look at that, to pinpoint it, to have like faith and patience in yourself and in your work. I think a lot of like diaristic kind of autobiographical narratives by women are reduced to kind of messy, small, anything overtly personal is like, can't be high art. And that's a pure manipulation. I mean, she really just acknowledges like the programming that happens, whether or not you've been unlucky enough to have the particular things that have happened to her that have sort of stifled her voice and taken her voice from her. We live in an atmosphere of oppression, in an atmosphere of control. And it takes an entire life to be able to hear yourself and trust your instincts. And it's such a warm invitation to do so. And it lent itself to a cinematic form because it feels like synapse. It feels like, oh, I thought about this, but then it led me to this. And then that thought led me to the conclusion. But then that put me right back to the beginning again. And it's like, we don't have the patience for each other to actually, it's like, unless you know exactly what you want to say before you say it, it's uncomfortable. And I wanted to be like, it's definitely okay to sit in that discomfort. It's the only way that you're ever going to find your own terms for anything. So yeah, I just thought it was a kind of a groundbreaking piece of work that should become physical.
Absolutely. Thanks for breaking that down. The synapses, I love it. They're firing, and our brains work that way. So if in a novel or a screenplay, it works. We're filing and we follow a tangent and then we bounce back, and that's how memory and everything works anyway. So that was the writing. How about directing, Kristen? You've worked with great directors. What'd you learn from maybe, David Fincher in Panic Room, or Pablo Larraín in the Princess Diana biopic, Spencer, or I guess you even played Gene Seberg, so that brings to mind Breathless and Godard. I don't know. What were some of your touchstones directing-wise?
My favorite directors are freaks that can barely express themselves. They need to make pictures. They need to get together. They need to get a crew of people fired up in order to kind of figure out what they want to say. And I will never make a straightforward film. I promise you, because I just don't think that life feels that way. I feel like that's I don't want to make movies that make people feel like life is easier or, kind of deducible. It's so fleeting and ephemeral. And I don't know. I think the directors that I've learned from the most, I've been doing this since I was 9, and it all gets in there, No movie is made the same. You have to bespoke process to make anything individual or sort of unique. And I think maybe specifically, I learned that everyone might be there for different reasons, because everyone brings their own personal life to the work, and to kind of leave room for people to feel differently and want differently and receive differently. That's the alchemy of a film. It's every single body on the set is in the movie, whether or not they're on camera. And I think maybe just being responsible for creating that environment, being responsible for giving everyone a sort of stage to get to know themselves, is hard. It's scary, especially when you have massive expectations for them. And you really want them to do a certain thing, but then they show up and they show you something so much better than you could have ever dreamed. Being open to that is probably the thing that I learned from my favorite directors, is not to stare at your script or stare at your sides, but actually look at the world you're living in. Feel the temperature, understand that weather changes everything. How many times a film crew can come and kind of just destroy an environment, just traipse all over the sort of sacred nature of a location. I was always just sort of trying to keep everything safe for us to be psychotic. It's creating structure for chaos.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Well, they're already giving me the wrap, but thank you so much. Again, everyone, it's called The Chronology of Water. Check it out in theaters. And I just love that that the star of Twilight is now going to be a directing award season contender the same year as Sinners. Vampires are back, baby. But go see Chronology of Water. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Fun fact for movie trivia fans, both Kristen Stewart and Imogen Poots previously acted in films about Alzheimer's, as Stewart played the daughter of Julianne Moore's Oscar-winning role in Still Alice, while Poots played the caretaker of Anthony Hopkins' Oscar-winning role in The Father. This year, The Chronology of Water earned Stewart a Camera d'Or nomination at the Cannes Film Festival for Best First Feature Film, and more recently won her a Maverick Award at the IndieWire Honors this month. Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.